The Yamaha R15 needs no introduction. It came and it conquered. It set the benchmark for others to follow, and the R15 V2 made it even better. Tejas, who joins us today, got his V2 in early 2017 and uses it for his daily ride and the occasional track days. Hi Tejas, good to have you here. So the R15, it's a legendary bike. It's one of the most popular bikes in India. What made you choose this bike, and how's the ownership experience been so far?
Hey, hi, Amin. It's nice to be over here this cold morning. So great to have you and this bike over here. So yeah, I'll basically start off with how I got this bike. It's wonderful having this bike. So before I'll tell you the bikes that I had before. Okay. So my first bike was a Shogun.
Ah, lovely.
So that was a lovely bike.
Smoker.
So yeah, absolutely. So that was kind of underpowered.
Okay.
Back then it was fine, but slowly with age, you have to move on with power. Okay.
Yeah.
So I was looking for some few options in 150cc category. So I got these 3-4 bikes, okay, in my mind, and I test rode them. So these are the bikes: Apache 160,
okay,
then the Charisma R,
okay,
and the FZ 125. FZ 150, and the R15. So after doing the test rides, I found out this R15 was a standout.
Okay,
with the handling and such other issues, it was very nice. This R15 was a standout. So after that, then I wanted to get more off the bike.
Okay,
the how the bike does on the streets, and
okay,
as well as inside the city traffic and all.
Okay.
So I started riding with my friend's bike. So back then they had this version 1. Okay. So back then they had the version 1. So the bike was amazing. The experience with the bike was amazing, riding my friend's bike.
Okay.
So after that I decided to go for this bike. So I got this bike a year back.
Okay.
So I upgraded from Apache 160.
So after the Shogun, you had the Apache, and then,
yeah, after the Shogun, I had the Apache, and after the Apache, I got this bike. So from then on, it's been a wonderful experience, wonderful 1-year experience, and it's been great.
Yes, the R15 has definitely got a brilliant history to it, in India. So the engine on the R15 is one of the most advanced, when it came to India, and in fact it still is. The 150cc segment, it's one of the best engines out there. How has your experience been with it?
Yeah, Vin, this is a phenomenal bike, especially in the 150cc segment. The engine on this bike is amazing. Okay, liquid cooled, and one of the first in India. Okay, in the Indian market in this segment. So what I can tell you is, this bike has this untiring capability to do long distances.
Keep on
especially the engine. Yeah, you can just keep on going. You can do long distance. It's you do not have to give it a break or something to get the engine back to its
original form.
Yeah, it's original.
How it started.
Yeah, back to its original. What do I tell you? The configuration.
Okay.
However it had to manage. But apart from that, the engine is very smooth. So I have been riding this, both in the city as well as on the highways. I take it a lot on the highways. But in the cities, I just had this one problem with this engine, and it's kind of underpowered, with respect to the torque. So especially in the first and second gear. So when there's this bumper to bumper traffic inside the city,
you miss the torque.
Yeah, we miss the torque. When you need that sudden, the pump, the pump of power when you're trying to overtake any vehicle or get past something inside the city traffic. But apart from that, it's a very great bike, even on the city roads. Compared to whatever the engine performance it gives. When I compare it to the highway, it's really nice. So next, when I get the bike on the highway, so the performance is again phenomenal. I just can't tell you how nice the performance is. So this bike basically does 0 to 60 in say some 5-6 seconds. That's all. That is something that I could record it. Okay. And it's been really smooth. Okay, that one thing is consistent. Okay, this thing is very smooth. So after you cross that the 6,000 RPM mark from second gear to third gear, the bike really flies. Okay, it's just really nice, smooth, and I can say say at a lesser speed, say around 60 or 70, the bike can cruise in 6th gear.
At 60, 70.
Yeah. At very less RPM, like 6,500 or 7,000 RPM, it just cruises really well. So that's its performance on the highway, and it's nice. And,
what are the cruising speeds on the highway?
the usual cruising
Without
speeds.
feeling stressed, basically.
Yeah, without feeling stressed, like without I get to know the bike is feeling stressed or something. The speed is around 120 or something. It's really smooth at 120. So what this bike can do is like speeds up to 140, 145, and I have hit the top speed of 156 on this bike.
Okay.
So that time even then I did not feel that much stress on the bike. I didn't have to put that much stress on the bike to
To take it
to take it to that top notch 156. That's what I did. So I didn't even have to redline it. Okay, so I started redlining only by fourth gear, and then it reached that top speed.
Okay.
So on the highways and all, it is like really fun. Then after the highways, I wanted to test the bike like how it does on the track, because track specifications and
so this bike
road,
it's home for it.
Yeah, I think it's built for the track. So I just took it on the track. So again on the track, the problem was with the first and second gears, but in the corners. In the corner, the required torque it gives on the corner is nice. Okay. But thing is like you have to keep the bike pinned around 6,000 to 7,000 RPM to really go around the corner to get the torque really around the corner. So like that the bike does well on the track.
And so how much mileage are you getting nowadays?
Okay, so say economy mode. When I say economy mode, it's below 100. Okay, so during that time I got the mileage somewhere around 30 to 35. That's really nice for this bike, 30 to 35. But when I take it beyond 110 or 120 kilometers per hour, the mileage reduces down to 25 kmph. So 25 kmph.
25. Okay.
Yeah, so it's good. Especially when you're on a highway, when you're not changing your gears and all, again it gets the mileage comes back to again 30.
Okay.
Even when I'm cruising at 120 kmph. So mileage wise, it is nice. And yeah, I forgot to tell you one thing. The best part about this bike is it does not get heated up that well.
But even after revving so much.
Yeah, even after revving so much, and say like after a 3 or 4 hours ride, continuous 3 or 4 hours ride, the radiator does not come on. It's
the fan basically.
Yeah, the radiator fan does not switch on. Okay. So it maintains its the cool temperature of the engine. Yeah. So yeah, it basically does that.
So the engine is definitely good and it's super refined. So coming to the best part of this bike, the handling and braking, how has your experience been with it?
Yeah, I mean, so when it comes to handling, I have just tons of stuff to tell about this bike. Okay, so this handling of this bike is like it's amazing. The handling on this bike is amazing. So I'll tell you some few things. How it handles better compared to other bikes on city roads. Okay. Like, when we are in the traffic. So this bike, it has this very good, what do you call this? This very good radius.
Short turning radius.
Yeah, short turning radius in and around the cities. So and when we have to overtake through these narrow gaps, this bike handles really well in those narrow gaps.
Okay, flickability basically.
Yeah, and you can flick it around the spaces in and around the traffic, and it is really nice. Okay. So city wise, it goes through those narrow gaps, no problem with that. And changing lanes, supposedly in a very what do you say, tight space. Okay. Even then it is fine. You could just bend down. You can just bend down slightly, and you can just flick your handle, and it will just take you and go.
How about the riding position? Do you feel the weight on your wrists? Because this is a fully committed position.
Yeah. So okay,
you need to get used to it.
Yeah, we need to get used to it. Okay. So through track experience, what I've learned, we need to grip the tank really well. Okay. So once you grip the tank, you don't. we don't get that pressure on the hand. Okay. So the riding posture is comfortable. Say after some 2-3 months of riding, you'll get used to that riding posture. Okay. And there's this back support that I get from this tail seat. So that holds me really well. And when we go on highways, the handling, when I tell you about the handling, the real fun part is at the corners. Okay, so the corners, the bike is amazing. The handling, you can flick up and down, and again, from left to right corner, you can do it really fast, and you can be spot on. So main thing is you can be spot on. You can be very precise, while taking this bike. So again, everything is spot on. You can, get something in your mind. Get something in your mind, some 2 seconds back, and you can get this thing done on this bike.
You could react so fast.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, that.
Actually, it feels light then.
Yeah. The bike is light. The bike is very light, so you can do those stuff on the bike. And you can make quick decisions, and you can overtake inside the corner and all during the track. and the bike handles very well on the track as well.
Okay.
So
How about the braking?
Oh,
setup?
okay. The braking, there's this small hitch in the braking. Okay. So what happens is when we are going at high speed, say at around 100 or 110, even after the engine braking, sometimes you need to pin the brakes really hard. At some point, there's sudden obstruction ahead. So that time I feel the brakes are quite spongy. Okay. Yeah, they're quite spongy.
Okay.
Spongy in the sense it does not hold really well. The brakes do not lock that well.
Okay, so you want better sharpness probably.
Yeah, we need that better sharpness, especially when the same thing happens on the track, when we are riding it on the track. So what we need to do is we need to pin it really close when you're overtaking, or when you have to suddenly stop down, when you have to suddenly slow down to take a corner. You have to pin the brakes really hard, and we need to be spot on. So that there's a small hitch with the bike.
So the R15 experience has been great for you. The engine is great, the handling is even better. So how about living with the bike? How is the service cost, and how easy or difficult is to maintain it?
Yeah. So see, this bike is my baby. Okay. So this bike does the experience has been really nice, and when it comes to maintenance and the service costs and all, it's not that expensive. It's it's a little bit on the lower side. Okay, lower side in the sense apart from the the changing of the fairings, if
you drop the bike,
if you crash or if you have those scratches, so you can get the parts replaced. They're quite they're quite cheap, and the parts
There's
are
no weight. Okay.
The parts are always there, so you can get it changed at the respective showrooms.
Okay.
And maintenance wise, the engine does so well. You can easily get the engine oil replacement after 3,000 or 5,000, and the engine still does good. I regularly get it serviced at 3,000 or 4,000 kilometers.
Okay.
So that's the regular service interval I take, and the service cost comes up to around 2,000 or 2,500 max.
Okay, that's with the oil change and everything?
That's with the consumables, the oil change, the disc pads.
Okay.
Parts are pretty cheap, compared to
and disc pads and all are readily available, right?
Yeah, it's already, it's ready. It's all ready over there. The spare parts and even the service from the showrooms are pretty nice in Bangalore. So I have no issues with the bike.
So now you had the bike for 1 year and clocked more than 10,000 kilometers. So you know exactly what the bike is all about. So do you suggest any changes or modifications to make the ownership experience and the overall ride any better?
Yeah. So like I told you before, the bike does exceptional performance. But the bike gives exceptional performance all the time. Okay. So yeah, there are some few upgrades that I kind of thought about having it for 1 year and clocking 10,000 kilometers. So I've told you, like I ride a lot. So I ride a lot on highways and in and around cities. Okay. So what I found was the problem with the braking. Right. So
you told that earlier.
I told about the braking. So if I had this better braided lines, so that you get the sharpness on the brakes.
Better sharpness. Okay.
Yeah. So that would be really helpful on this bike.
Okay.
So that was with the brakes. And next, when I come on to the tires, the stock tires are not that really good. Yeah, they don't not that really well in the sense they don't do justice to the performance of the bike.
Okay.
So when you go on the track, you can't use this you can't use these tires. Okay. So so what I started using was this Pirelli Rosso tires on the back and front, not Rosso but something with Michelin. Yeah. Okay. So when I upgraded those tires on this bike, the bike performance increased. Okay. Even the mileage as well as the handling, it became really better on this bike.
Okay.
So these two things, they have to look really hard on this bike. So apart from this, what I felt was the display that comes with the bike has to be more informative. Okay. More informative in the sense with regard to the the mileage. The mileage that it gives on that it gives for a given tank.
Tank range probably.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, the tank range, and some timing on the bike, such that when you're going to track or when you want to
lap time or
you want to go do a lap. So we need to have that timing the timing the setup on the bike, so that it really helps clock your timing around.
Okay.
Then
You're
then
talking about
it's
the mirrors. if
yeah,
I'm saying.
so I had this problem with the mirrors. Okay, so when you're in the city, when you're parking the bike in a very tight spot, the mirrors usually don't fold in. Okay, so compared to other bikes, say for example Pulsar 220 and R3, what happens is the bikes snap in. So you know you can
There's a
snap in and you
proper-
can snap out. So you know the mirrors don't get scratched, and there's no even obstruction for the other vehicles to remove their bikes, next to this bike.
Okay.
But with this bike, when you fold in, the groove gets loosened. Okay, so when the groove gets loosened, after the groove gets loosened, it just hangs freely.
Oh, so you can't set it again.
You can't
it's
set
not
it
tight anymore.
Yeah, it's not easy to set it back. So you need to actually take some tool and you need to fix the mirror over there.
Okay.
So these are some small hitches that this bike has. But apart from that, this bike is really good.
Yeah, so it's been great talking about the R15 V2, and you had a great experience with it. And thank you so much for being here.
Yeah. Thank you, Avin. Even the feeling is mutual. It's been fun, shooting the video for this R15. So I hope people get some really nice feedback from this video, and they have some clear thoughts about what they want in a bike and what this bike can
It's capable of.
capable of. And this bike provides. This bike is a provider.
This keeps you happy.
It just keeps you happy, smiling all the time.
So the R15 V2 maintains its edge over its competitors by providing an overall package that's superior in terms of quality and rider experience. If you have any questions, do ask them below. And please do subscribe to our channel, and thank you for watching.